Hey ARKS, Silhouette here with a very short video this time, and this time it isn't me bringing you the news, it's you, or at least a few of you. Around a week ago, on March 18th, PSO2 Global's lead of the marketing team, Fred White, posted a tweet asking, "What collaboration would you like to see in Phantasy Star Online 2?" And you answered. Around 180 or so direct replies, I think there was like 183, were made in response suggesting several anime, video games, and even some business collaborations that you'd like to see in PSO2 Global. With the initial hype and surge of responses over and done with, now that a week has passed, I figured I'd go ahead and compile the data from the responses given and see what we turned out, just in case you were curious or wanted to see what was the most popular. Think your favorite anime or game series, or even gas station, came out on top? Well, keep hoping, and let's find out. Holy hell, this was murder on my eyes and hands, but I manually compiled all of the responses and even the responses' responses into a spreadsheet to tally up all the data. The variety of entries alone were quite a surprise and a handful of laughs here and there, but as far as I can tell, this is the most accurate and unbiased representation. Now, just keep in mind there is a little bit of finagling with the data here. Entries that kind of mesh together, like if someone says Final Fantasy and they don't really specify which one, kind of counts for all the other entries for Final Fantasy that's already mentioned. And also, we did take out certain entries that didn't make a whole lot of sense, or, were tongue-in-cheek. Stuff like PS Vita, oh wait, 9 years too late. Stuff like that we can't put in here. But we got everything put together, and I'm pretty happy with the results. This is the most accurate and unbiased representation. Okay, fine. That's not at all unbiased. I just really love the Fate series, okay guys? It's the best one. We should get more of it. I think everybody wants it. Hey, SEGA, give us the Fate collab. Anyways, here's the actual data. Yikes. As it turns out, there are an insane number of one-off suggestions for everything, and that causes the data to represent a pie chart in a rather accurate but unreadable manner. Let's try this. Let's separate all the entries that had only, say, 4 or less total suggestions from the main pool of data. That accounts for almost 55% of the data pool of 511 suggestions. The resulting chart is about the top 45% responses. Oh, hey, there we go. That looks a lot better. Regardless of what chart we use, the obvious leader of the dataset is the Final Fantasy XIV collab, with several people mentioning fond memories of the Odin Emergency Trial, or even just wanting their Moogle evolution devices for their mags. It came out on top. It looks like it's probably the most beloved one we have. That said, following it is Monster Hunter and the Fate series. Monster Hunter is interesting because the licensing for the collab event over on JP servers with Monster Hunter Frontier Online recently lapsed, and this led to the removal of the collab's Eruzerion boss from the game. As for the Fate series, the JP servers have had 2 Fate Stay Night and 1 Fate Khalid banners for this series thus far, largely back in the earlier years of the service. Since then, Grand Order has kind of taken center stage for the franchise, so it wouldn't be that crazy to see a massive revival with new stuff from Grand Order, along with the older items from the previous collabs. Beyond that, the top 10 has a number of other notable entries, including Neon Genesis Evangelion, which has had a previous collab in JP with an urgent quest requiring players to defeat the 6th angel, Ramiel, otherwise known as Best Girl, and a coincidentally similar sounding name to New Genesis. NGS collab maybe, wink wink. Halo, which surprisingly pushed its way to the top and has a lot of momentum, probably because of the series' popularity stateside, and Microsoft's support of PSO2's Western expansion. Sword Art Online had a collab with JP as well, while Devil May Cry also had a very surprising amount of support for a new collab. Huh. Maybe we'll be seeing that familiar sticker soon. Hyperdimension Neptunia also made it up at 8th place, largely due to the shared demographics between the two games, and the already existing collab in JP, that recently came with new adjustments for NGS bodies. And right behind it are Kingdom Hearts and Ruby, which have substantial Western fanbases. Anyways, there is an entire list of everything compiled if you're interested. It's quite a bit of data. There's some funny things in it too. Someone suggested Honey Pop of all things. I'm sorry, buddy, I don't know if that one's gonna fly. Some of it is combined into one entry, I mentioned this above, while others contributed to multiple entries based on how the suggestion was made. For example, a few posts mentioned Final Fantasy VII and were recorded individually for Final Fantasy VII, while others just kind of mentioned Final Fantasy in general, and that contributed to all of the existing entries for Final Fantasy, including the Final Fantasy XIV collab. It probably could pare down a little bit further, but again, it really was a lot of stuff to go through, so I apologize if it looks a bit odd. But these are more or less the results, and the top 10 is pretty far and ahead solid, give or take a few suggestions for Fate or Final Fantasy XIV. Did your favorite anime, video game, or business fare as you expected? Leave a comment and let me know. I'd be happy to see what you think, maybe even tell you why you're wrong and that Fate is better. And that's all of it, guys. I'm honestly a bit tired while recording all this, but I'm pretty sure I got everything put together fairly accurately. Remember to drop a like and subscribe to my channel if you're interested in my content going forward. It really helps me get into the fabled algorithm and boosts my confidence. You can also support my channel by purchasing a fancy Shifta or Deban mug, and I've got a link posted to my Teespring store down in the description below. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning, as well as every second Saturday night over at twitch.tv/sillygames, and I'd be happy to see you there. But for now, this is Silhouette, and I'm signing off. ARKS Ops, may you have all the rare drops.